Chris. We're gonna just kind of go over a few housekeeping things while people settle in. We've got some people joining us already, so good evening to everyone. Thanks for joining us for another Practice Partner Academy. We're here with our friends at Pedifix tonight and Dr. Jeffrey Oster, and they're going to talk to us about some first-rate orthotics. So we're going to get started with that in just a few minutes. But as always, if you've joined us before, you know the drill. If you have any questions, just type them into your Q&A or your chat box whenever they pop into your brain so that you don't forget them. And then we'll get to them at the end. So whatever's easiest for you to find, whether it's the Q&A box or the chat box, we'll take questions in either.
Tonight's a little bit different than if you've joined us for Practice Partner Academy before, which I see some familiar names popping up, so that's good news. We are doing it a little bit different tonight. So obviously we have Dr. Oster here with us, as well as Christopher Case with Pedifix, as this webinar is sponsored by Pedifix this evening. So thank you so much for your support of podiatrymeetings.com and Practice Partner Academy. But we are going to run a quick, almost just like an introductory video of the first-rate orthotic that is the feature product for tonight's webinar. So it'll be about a 10-minute video just to kind of give you an overview of this new exciting product that Pedifix has launched. When was this launched, Chris? About 4 months ago? Has it been that long?
When it first came out, but really getting going now.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So we actually just saw, we were in Texas 2 weeks ago. This was a featured product at Texas Podiatric Medical Association meeting in, where were we? Irving. I always forget where on the globe we're traveling to from week to week when we're going to shows. So that was exciting. But I'm really excited for after the video, because we have Chris and Dr. Oster here to answer all of your questions about this new product. So I'm pumped.
Yeah. So like we said, if you've got questions, type them into the chat or the Q&A. If you want to show us that you're alive out there and listening, you can always react using the little reactions thing. On my screen, it's along the bottom. If you're on a tablet or your phone, it might be a little different, but you've got some choices like raise hand if you have a question, or the little dying, laughing, crying thing. You've got a heart, you've got a celebration, you've got a little thumbs up. So you can always send us one of those, and that kind of motivates us to keep going, of course.
Awesome.
So we're about 3 minutes after. Dr. Oster, I have like an introductory slide that tells us about 2 sentences about you. But would you like to give us a little overview where you're practicing and kind of what setting you practice in, a little bit about you?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I practice in a small town called Alamosa, Colorado. It's south central Colorado. It's in the San Luis Valley, which is the highest, largest agricultural valley in the world. It's about 7,600 feet, and it's a big ag community. I practice in a hospital-based practice. I practice in the orthopedics department here, and most of my practice is reconstructive surgery, diabetic limb salvage, based upon the population here. It's a big ag population.
Awesome.
And I love your story about why you became a podiatrist. Do you care to share that with us really quick?
You mean about being an auto mechanic?
Well, thinking about it.
Oh yeah. So when I was a young man, I just, for some reason, education didn't click with me until I found biology, and the whole world fell together into a really wonderful configuration at that point. But leading up to it, I wanted to be a diesel mechanic. And my folks said, if you can just get this kid in for 1 semester of college, and sure enough, I fell in love with the biological sciences. But I think it really goes back to the point that when people are of a mindset that they just like to take things together and put them back, take them apart and put them back together again. You could be a surgeon, you could be a diesel mechanic. I mean, they cross over.
That's
Awesome.
so funny. I love it. So Chris from Pedifix is going to help us answer all of our questions related to the product, its availability, pricing, how we get it into your office, all that kind of stuff. And also my favorite thing about talking to people like this is to hear the story of how products come to market and what goes into that. So after we watch this short video of Dr. Oster presenting the different features of the product and the ways to treat using an orthotic like this, we'll have an interesting talk about, product development and stuff like that. So all that being said, type your questions into Q&A and chat. We're going to go ahead and get started. The four of us are going to mute ourselves and turn off our cameras. And I'm going to play this recording, this 10-minute recording of this interview we had with Dr. Oster a couple months ago, and then we'll all be right back here. So here we go. And I'm still here. We're getting to it. Don't you worry.
Patients are going to vary in terms of the type of product that they need. And traditionally, the products that we've had for first-ray pathology have been a little cumbersome. For instance, if we got into a glass fiber orthotic with a Morton's extension, they're rather bulky and pretty cumbersome. I think the market was just screaming for an update to be able to have something that was a little more effective, a little more consumer friendly, and something that you can modify to optimize. The product that I think most of us as clinicians relied upon was either a rigid first ray extension or to use a carbon fiber spring plate. Both of those were very stiff. Carbon fiber spring plate has no arch support at all. So you were forced to choose between, say, a glass fiber orthotic that's pretty bulky with a Morton's extension and a very thin but non-supportive carbon fiber spring plate. And ultimately, I think what the first ray orthotics did was to integrate these two concepts where you not only get a degree of semi-rigid to rigid arch support, but you also get the ability to modify applications for changing the mechanical function of the first ray. Well, carbon fiber, I think you'll see, is used in a lot of high-tech applications. For instance, Lamborghini uses it in its body function and building brake housings because it's light and extremely strong. Racing yachts are all made out of carbon fiber. And then as you start to turn into the medical side of things, the lightweight prosthetics that you see, for instance, that might be used after a lower extremity amputation, are carbon fiber. The key with carbon fiber is that it's extremely lightweight and extremely strong. So in some cases for custom application, you might find that polyethylene is a better choice for a simple posterior AFO. But when you step it up a notch, you'll see that the majority of the customized AFOs are made out of carbon fiber. So do you remember the shoes? I think they were called a Nike Free Fly. I might be getting that wrong, but they won, if I'm not mistaken, the New York Marathon, right? And so they had a carbon fiber spring plate in them. And it was a huge debate whether that was actually cheating, because here you have this extremely lightweight new material that makes the foot function a little bit like a spring, so that when the calf starts to load and you hit the heel off stage of gait, that carbon fiber spring actually pushes you a little bit forward. Now, no one got in trouble and everybody kept their medals, but that was a a big time for carbon fiber when I think it was the first time in foot and ankle care that carbon fiber was introduced in such a controversial way. You know, part of the beauty of running is it's you and your shoes, you know, and it's a very intimate relationship, and just that minimalism I think is a big part of you know, the beauty of running. And to have something like this new line of First Ray Orthotics, I think is a really neat opportunity for something like that, because it's so lightweight and it's strong enough with these specific forefoot applications. I think it's a pretty awesome combination. What they did was they took all of the logic that was applicable to carbon fiber products and integrated, for instance, how do we control forefoot pathology, but still have an adequate arch support and be able to fit all this into a shoe. And that's the beauty of these First Ray Orthotics, that they take all of those into one package so that they're much more easily placed into the shoe and able to control forefoot pathology. When a provider can say that this orthotic is made of the same materials that Lamborghini uses to make their bodies on their cars, it's a high-tech material. It's incredibly thin, incredibly versatile, and that's why I think this product line of First Ray Orthotics is really cool. I think it's an advance over what we have. Let's take a look at each of the individual First Ray Orthotics. The first is an orthotic that has a flexible and very thin top cover. The top cover is only 0.7 millimeters in thickness. The thickest portion of the central part, or the arch support of the First Ray Orthotic, is only 1.9 millimeters. Very, very thin, but semi-rigid to almost completely rigid to give you support. Now, for many people, what we might find is that a person might have a problem like hallux limitus or turf toe on one foot. So what we've come up with is the ability to use a neutral orthotic on one foot and a specific First Ray Orthotic on the other foot. So the combination then would give the provider an opportunity to prescribe a carbon fiber device for the left foot, using it as a natural or a neutral position, and for the right foot, use the other First Ray Orthotic that includes a Morton's extension. So it gives, I think, providers a little bit of way to vary the options with each of these. The Morton's extension on the First Ray Orthotic is semi-rigid. When combined with a shoe that combines a semi-rigid shank and a laced upper, it does become a little bit more rigid in terms of its flexibility. One of the other things that was done too to provide First Ray management in early cases of hallux limitus. So for instance, in stages 1 and 2 of hallux limitus, where there's limited degenerative change of the joint, in that case, you want to try to improve the range of motion of the joint. Whereas with stages 3 and 4, we want to use a Morton's extension directly under the First Ray to stiffen the range of motion. So Pedifix came up with another idea. This would be the First Ray cutout here, but it's a reversed Morton's extension that would intentionally be used to limit the range of motion of the lateral column of the foot, but increase and plantar flex the First Ray to be able to increase the range of motion of the First Ray in stages 1 and 2 in hallux limitus. So two options, one for early hallux limitus and minor injuries. Also, stage 3 and 4 would be the Morton's extension that would be indicated for hallux limitus, hallux rigidus, and turf toe. Starting with the thinness of the First Ray Orthotics, I think the adjustments are pretty remarkable. Going directly to the most adjustable, here's a new line from Pedifix that includes not only a sub 2, sub 3 cutout, but also carbon fiber on either side to have a Morton's extension on both sides. Now, I could see something like this used for metatarsalgia, for Morton's neuroma, but you want to incorporate that with a metatarsal pad to offload and maximize the cutout within this particular version of the first ray orthotics. This could also be used with a top cover and perhaps a met pad on the top. In my practice, I tend to find that when possible, if I can get a met pad placed on the bottom of the insole, it doesn't move around when the foot comes in and out of the shoe. It stays in place, and you can take a simple felt metatarsal pad, and when placed on the bottom of the insole, that felt metatarsal pad can last a good 18 to 24 months because it's not disturbed. So heat moldable, extremely thin, very versatile, semi-rigid to rigid, and modified with any top cover you'd like to use over the top of it. I would see these both used as in a dress shoe, used right out of the box as is, but for more complicated indications, and when you have enough room in the shoe, like a tennis shoe or a work boot, the modifications are endless in terms of, like you said, dancers pads, met pads, top covers. I think almost indefinitely, and from what we're seeing, this material seems to be extremely durable. I think what you'd find is you're probably going to use the first ray orthotic as a base orthotic, and perhaps every 6 months to a year replace whatever window dressing you put around it, met pads, dancers pads, top covers, and then continue to use that as the base. Years ago in my practice, my focus was on custom orthotics and not customizing existing orthotics, but not everybody needs a custom orthotic, and this becomes, I think, an affordable and readily accessible way to provide the same kind of solutions without getting into a custom orthotic.
All right, we are back. I forgot how much I enjoyed our conversation with you, and you knew all the ins and outs of the product and all of the things that physicians are looking for, the rigidness, just everything. And I just thought how much thought went into this, and how much you obviously believe in it. So I really enjoyed our talk, and I'm glad that we get to present it to everybody. All right, so let's see. We haven't had any questions entered into Q&A or chat yet. So if you have questions, go ahead and do that. But while we're waiting for some of those, Chris, what can you tell us about the beginning stages of this product and how it came to market, how you started to work with Dr. Oster, and how all of that came about?
Well, thanks very much for having us tonight, and thanks to all who are at home viewing. We appreciate your interest in this product concept. It's been a very serendipitous development process, combination of things. I've known Jeff for a long, long time, and I know he's had a lot of treatment success with spring plates and similar types of carbon fiber inserts that are helping limit ranges of motion to solve a number of problems. And I had my own basketball injury, a turf toe injury, when I ran into a wall in an elementary school gym. And what I was dispensed was one of these traditional flat plates. And the moment I put it in my shoes, I thought this had to be a torture device from the 1500s, because it was almost impossible to walk. It didn't seem to relieve my pain or discomfort, and it didn't really help a lot. So I said, well, there must be something better than this in the worldwide market. And with Jeff's ringing endorsements of carbon fiber materials running through my mind, I found a company in Germany that manufactures these unique devices using carbon fiber materials with a very unique design and contour to it. And the biggest difference between this and all these plates is this has an arch support. So in addition to stabilizing and supporting and limiting motion in the first ray, you also make it comfortable for the patient to wear and ambulate. And I think we really have been successful in advancing the care, standard of care, if you will, for turf toe, for hallux rigidus, hallux limitus, sesamoiditis, other forefoot pathologies, even neuroma with the offloading version that Jeff showed earlier. So there's a variety of these devices that came about. I found this company in Germany. I said, this is the answer to both my personal problem, and I realized that it must be an answer to a lot of clinicians out there. And sure enough, we've spoken with hundreds, if not thousands of doctors at the conferences, 20 conferences we've done so far this year. And the results and the comments are the same every time. You're right. These flat plates, patients are not compliant with these. They walk home with it, but they immediately take it out of their footwear, and then they're hobbling around with their deformity and the pain that it causes. And when we're using something that offers a little bit of flexibility under that first head and that first ray, and the combination of the orthotic support in a thin enough device that goes in any type of footwear, even on top of or underneath other orthotics, to get that first ray stability, we knew we had a successful product. So it was a long circular road. It took about a year and a half to get this all the way we wanted it. And Jeff showed you some of the different styles there. The offloading version is proven to be very popular for a number of conditions. And the reverse Morton's extension has proven very popular for a number of conditions. Again, hallux limitus and functional hallux limitus. So we come up with a product that, from what we understand, we're helping a lot of patients and we're helping a lot of clinicians be more successful in their treatment of these first ray and other forefoot related conditions.
If you were to add it to another orthotic, would you actually adhere them together, or would you just stack them?
I didn't need to. I just stacked it right on top of my existing 3/4 length orthotic. And in certain shoes where I could use the combination of devices, it worked wonderfully. In thinner footwear that is not quite so roomy, I just use this device in itself. I've used it for over 2 years. I still use the product when I'm active athletically because I still have residual discomfort in that first ray joint. And this really helps relieve it and helps me be active at the same time. I'm back at full capacity, playing basketball, running, doing all my sports activities, even though my condition is never fully healed.
Gotcha.
Wow. We did just have a question come in. Is there a weight limitation with the carbon fiber first ray orthotic?
That is a very good question, and something we get for a lot of our orthotics, especially our latest pressure off insoles. And so far, I've had patients who are 250 pounds have not flattened the device. I'm thinking that at 300, you probably have some concerns, and there'll probably be a reason to reinforce the arch here so it doesn't collapse under that kind of excessive weight. But so far, 250-pound patients have not flattened the device.
Hey, Chris, you remember Roeder?
Sure.
Yeah, orange material.
Yep.
You know, I mean, when it came out, it was just the hottest thing going in biomechanics, you know, because you could tweak it and tune it to do about whatever you wanted to, but it was awfully thick. And I would put Roeder into the same category as some of the products that preceded the first ray orthotic were made out of glass fiber. And the glass fiber products were just so dang thick. And then, so consider the glass fiber, the first generation, you know, Roeder glass fiber. Second generation would be the carbon graphite, which would be spring plates and some of the turf toe plates that, you know, that were thin. But it's a difficult material to work with. And I think the design and materials used in the first ray orthotics really represent like a third generation of materials to be used here, so that, you know, we continue to grow over time. But the cool part is with each generation, it becomes more functional, it becomes more usable, you can fit it into shoes. I'm excited. I think it's a great product.
Is there anything on it that, because I've never actually held carbon fiber. I know it's really thin, but I don't know if I'm wrong. When I'm perceiving it, putting it on my foot, I feel like it would just be really hard. Like, is there would you put Plastizote on it or anything like that to soften it up? Or is the top cover, is there a top cover on there to soften it up at all? I'm just curious how that feels.
It has a little bit of flexibility to it. So carbon fiber materials, like all of them, they come in different thicknesses. And if you get a super thick device, it'll have absolutely no bend or give to it whatsoever. But the thinner you make the product, the more flexibility there is. And so we gradually increase the stiffness of the product ever so slightly with the biggest sizes. So a bigger patient will still get support both for the arch and underneath the first ray. And so it works for all patients of different weights and different conditions. And so thin, again, that it'll fit in all your footwear. But that's a very good question, of course. But with the amount of material we've used here and its thickness, we think we have the right density and rigidity of the device.
So I'm curious, a few months ago when we chatted, you mentioned that physicians could say this is the same, product or ingredient or whatever that's in the Lamborghini. Has anybody said that to a patient? And what has the feedback been? I'm just curious if, like, I feel like we should make that a marketing campaign, like wear a Lamborghini in your shoe.
It's an interesting tactic. I guess Jeff likes Lamborghinis, but this carbon fiber material is used in aircraft wings and literally hundreds of other products where weight and rigidity are two critical characteristics. And of course, the longevity and resistance to failure. On an aircraft wing, that's pretty important, as it would be in your Lamborghini. There could be a marketing angle in there someplace. I haven't gone that far just yet. I really just want to get the product out right now and see what the physicians and their patients' reaction is so far. In the few hundred pairs that we've distributed around the country, it's been really a great response, and I think it's going to really take off. We're running our first ads right now in Podiatry Management Magazine to kick off the launch more officially, even though we've showed it at trade shows for the last several months. But so far, it seems to be working. I'll work on that marketing program next.
I'm envisioning a transformer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe the entry point is, ask people if they've ever watched F1 on Netflix.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I
if you like Formula One racing, you need some carbon fiber insoles.
yeah.
Thin,
So,
light, and
I
strong,
see
nothing like it.
one of our attendees, Pauline, has her hand up. Pauline, do you have a question? You know what? Every time I say that, like, do you have a question or are you drying your nails? That's what I feel like saying when okay, her hand is
To
down.
wait.
There was something else I was going to say about this Orthotic, and it has escaped me now.
Mhm.
Oh no. It's okay. It'll come back. It was.
Oh, I know what it was going to be.
See?
Chris, what can you tell us about pricing and availability?
Yes, so we're fully in stock now, all sizes and all variations of the theme. And these are prefabricated or preformed devices, so they come in shoe sizes. There's no necessity for casting or any other in taking impressions of the foot. It's based on shoe size. They are heat modifiable at 100 degrees Celsius, which a high-tech heat gun will get you there, and you can make many modifications that you want. And they're, this is German made out of these very sophisticated materials, and they are $75 a pair to the physician. And we are testing some different patient prices as high as 150 to allow the doctors to double their cost. We're testing it at 125 also on various websites to see how it sells to the patient at those price points. But we'll let the doctor have some flexibility in how much they want to sell it to their patients. Some people do it at costs. Some people want to make a margin on it. Completely understandable both ways, depending on your patient population. So the price will vary anywhere from $75 to $150.
And I may be missing this because is there like a style for like a dress shoe? I mean, I know it's maybe more for like an athletic type shoe, but is there like a dress orthotic, like one or that would work for a work boot? Or
these will function in all types of footwear. They're not designed for high heels and other high fashion shoes. That wouldn't be an appropriate place for somebody who has a first-rate condition or injury. They wouldn't want to be in that type of footwear anywhere, ideally. So the same design applies to athletic footwear as well as to dress shoes. Again, so thin, and a scissor trimble on the perimeter of the devices for an easier fit, or heat modifiable. Any part of the device can be modified with that 100 degrees Celsius temperature.
And is there a HCPCS code, or is it a over-the-counter cash pay item?
It's a cash pay item. There might be some codes. I'm not sure what people are using on the traditional devices there, but it could be something we investigate a little more aggressively in the future and maybe get one allocated for us. But right now it's a cash pay item.
All right. We had a question come in. What is the top cover material?
This is a fiber material with a rubberized backing. It's unique to this German company that manufactures this product. It's kind of their exclusive secret sauce. But the important thing is it's readily accepting of any other top cover. It's very receptive to adhesives and other materials. So I've had some physicians who have put some additional covers on it, especially appropriate when you're using the offloading device. You probably want to have something that separates the bottom of the foot from the top of the product. So they are putting on top covers. But it doesn't necessarily, I use it without any at all. And it's lasted me over 2 years. Hasn't been a problem whatsoever. This is a very durable material, but the thinness is what's really the key. So I didn't want to add a lot of thickness by adding more materials on top unless that's absolutely necessary for a patient's condition. In mine, it wasn't.
Interesting. So you said you've been using this for a few years, so that's how long it takes for a product to really come to market, because you have to test it. And I love that you guys are the ones testing it, you know?
Yes, and we gave out pairs to a variety of patients as well, of different weights and with different conditions, and all the indicators were positive in the acceptance by the patient, by the amount of support and comfort that it provided them, especially in contrast with the flat devices that many of them had been prescribed. And because of its thinness, they can transfer it from any type of footwear to other shoes in their wardrobe without concern that it's not going to fit in this shoes, not going to fit in these shoes. It really fits in everything except for a women's high heel shoe.
So, Dr. Oster, I know that you're using this in your practice. So what has your experience been with patients and things, you know, conversations in your office and then seeing them back for return treatment? What has your experience been?
I think there's been a high degree of acceptance of these. You know, I look at the usability issues. I mean, even something as simple as putting your foot into the shoe, is that top cover going to be, you know, create too much friction? No, it works really well. But again, I think that really the at the core of it is the usability of this device. Even other common, I don't want to give trade names, but OTC inserts that would be available at like hiking stores, and it's even thinner than those very common insoles that I think we all know. I've seen universal acceptance. Now, you know, one product doesn't soothe all problems, you know, obviously. So for instance, if I had a case of plantar fasciitis, a big part of my practice is trying to change the function of the calf muscle. So for instance, I would use this product in conjunction with a heel lift of some sort, maybe place a metatarsal pad in the heel underneath the first orthotic. But overall, I really appreciated the acceptance.
That was actually going to be my next question for you guys, is what has your experience been combining it with some of the other products from the Pedifix line, like some of the other pads, like you mentioned a Met pad? What kind of other things have you combined it with and seen success with?
Boy, my
Go ahead,
mind
Jeff.
goes, go ahead, Chris.
No, after you.
My mind goes to the fact that one of the things that's so unique about Pedifix, and I think this is really something that comes true in these first orthotics, is that Pedifix sells medical foot care products. They just don't sell, they're not a company that sells foot pads. They're a company that has spent a lot of time and effort into crafting products that are medical products. And I think that's what ties together the relationship that Pedifix has. It's so strong with providers, because the providers realize the quality of the materials. I've had past instances in my office where patients would come in and try to get maybe a crust pad or a toe separator, and they would look at it and say, well, this isn't a Pedifix pad. And I'd say, oh yeah, we kind of ran out for a little bit, so they're coming, you know, we'll get them back. And I think that's the unique thing about this company. You have to look at the company as a company that's not just selling foot pads. It's a company that's invested a lot of time and a lot of work into being a medical supply company.
That's exactly right. I mean, I love that you point out that it's a medical foot care product line, not just foot pads. And when you say invested a lot, they've released 2 brand new products to the market this year. Talk about investing a lot. Like, that is a huge undertaking. I've seen companies, well-known, well-respected companies, go years before they release a new product. So that's quite an accomplishment for you guys. So kudos to you.
Thanks.
It is exciting, and I am excited to see more of the product line being the whole foot, I guess, versus like the insole versus again, just something that creates comfort for just one particular area, but really is doing more biomechanically than it is, just creating cushion.
So, what's next for you guys? Any tweaks to this product that we can expect, or where can we see you on the road?
We'll be at the SAW meeting next month, and not sure where I'm going. We have a full fall schedule. We'll be out at all the major conferences that are upcoming in the next couple of months for year's end. And this will be one of the most prominent products we're showing, in addition to our pressure off insoles and several other products. During COVID, we didn't have that many opportunities to launch new products, so I was working on a lot of things during that time, and we have about 25 new products in our current catalog. But this and pressure off insoles are really two that I think are going to help the most clinicians, help the most patients. And that's the
I
driving
love
force
that you mentioned.
of our
Oh, sorry,
company
go ahead.
for all these years. We want to help as many people as we can, and I'm confident that First Ray Orthotics represent an advance in care for clinicians and their patients who will benefit.
I love the fact that you mentioned that. I mean, we can't take that time. If you didn't take advantage of the time during COVID that was kind of down, it's too late now. But the fact that you invested into product development during that time instead of, freaking out, because I'm sure that was a temptation to just freak out. And and so, those that didn't and that really made use of, like, what better time to get things done that have always been on the to-do list when you're just stuck. So I love that you took advantage of that time. Silver lining is coming out for sure. And yeah, with these two new products, the pressure off and now this First Ray Orthotic, I mean, the results for everyone. I mean, great for Pedifix, but great for people with feet.
Yeah. Another thing I want to point out, like anytime we have these conversations with you guys, I feel like I just have to say, you listened to physicians who you talked with at shows, who called you, with treatments that they couldn't find a product that you had that solved, and all these different things. And you don't just say, try this, or no, I don't have anything. You're like, I don't have anything right now, but I'm going to put this in my book and I'm going to get to it. And here you are getting to it. You guys are just constantly delivering, and just you're listening to your customers, you're listening to the industry, and you're just constantly innovating. So
and that's why when you said you've been at 20 trade shows this year, I love that as well, because there is a major tendency to stay home, and I get it. I mean, we've kind of gotten used to staying home, and unfortunately when you don't get out there, you don't interact, and you live in this vacuum, and you're not going to know what's coming or what your audience needs. And so the fact that you're still hitting the road, you're still road warriors, I commend you for that, because you have to be out there to connect with the people that impact you the most. And so thank you for still hitting the streets and jumping on planes. I love seeing you all the time anyway, but the industry, we need it. We can't stay at home and know what we need. So
Webinars are great, but there's nothing that beats face-to-face conversation and dialogue that we can drill down into clinicians' treatment challenges and try to develop solutions. And we think we have another one here.
Yeah,
I
great.
think so.
Well, with that, any closing thoughts from either of you? No,
I think
we're
we
good.
covered it pretty thoroughly. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with
I
you
think
guys
so,
and
too.
your audience.
Yeah.
I do have one comment.
Yeah.
I would like to thank Chris he's always out there. He's been a fun partner in terms of, I'm the science geek and he's the product and catalog guy. And, it makes for some magic, but he's really good at this product development. And, I think this is a home run with the First Ray Orthotics.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you guys really do seem like the dream team. It always is a science geek and then a creative brain that kind of puts it together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys very much for spending the time to, talk with us tonight. I hope that all of our attendees got something out of it. You can always reach out to Pedifix online directly. You can find them on our website. Fill out a form. I'm sure they'll send you something for free. And see them on the road, see us on the road. And
Stay tuned for our next Practice Partner Academy. We've got a bunch in October. So October is going to be jam-packed with these types of presentations. So I'm really excited for October. And then the next Petty Fix is TBD. So we will be having that probably in 6 to 8 weeks. So keep your eyes peeled for our next Petty Fix webinar. I'm excited.
yeah. Well, thank you guys very
Got
much
you.
for joining us. Thanks
Thank
to
you so
everyone
much.
near and far, and we'll see you again soon.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Thanks much.
Thanks,
Okay,
everybody.
good night.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Good night.